So you guys have watched a bunch of games. What are some of the stuff from Summer League before we go on to some other business that you've seen over these first 3-4 days of Summer League?
Go ahead, Timmy.
So, we've hit on Chet a lot because obviously I saw him in Salt Lake City Summer League. So I'll move on to the guy who was picked right after him last year. And you don't see number 3 overall picks who started 79 games playing in the next year's Summer League that often these days. But Jabari Smith we'll see how much longer he goes. But he has been playing out here. And, I thought he had a great quote where he said something along the lines of, we were 22-60 last year. Like, I need to play, I need to work, that sort of a thing. And, had a 30-point performance in the first game where he hit that buzzer beating 3 to beat I believe it was the Blazers. Yeah, because both Scoot and
it was
Scoot
Blazers.
and Thompson both got hurt, which that's part of the bummers. We've had some high-profile rookies go down early. And then this last game, it was supposed to be Thompson versus Thompson, the battle of the Thompson twins, but Amon was out, and that obviously was a bummer. But then Jabari Smith Jr. put on a show. Had 38 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He was basically playing point center. And he was down there banging with some dudes who are big, athletic specimens in Jalen Duren and James Wiseman. But his 38 points, like, this dude was bringing the ball up the floor, making plays off the dribble, doing stuff I didn't know he had. And I don't think he had in his game last year. I think this guy has, you're seeing the work that he's done since the Rockets season ended in April. I mean, he had a couple like really smooth, pretty off dribble turnarounds, like the double team's coming, turn baseline away from it. A beautiful and one finish where he beats Wiseman off the dribble and comes up and reverse layup on the other side. He hit a step back on Wiseman because there was some chirping going on. He hit a step back on Wiseman and did a whole bunch of barking. The Pistons guys, the players sit courtside. As he's running by them, he had a whole lot of things to say. And he said, I can't tell you what I said. If I was mic'd up, they would have had to bleep it, basically. But he said, I'm pretty sure they'll remember it when we play him this year. So super impressed with Jabari Smith Jr. is one of the big.
He also likes to play center. He's one of these guys, we talked about Victor not wanting to play center. Obviously, he's, Şengün is going to be their center. But, like, Jabari likes to play center, doesn't shy away from those minutes.
Mm-hmm. And, also that gives them flexibility in their matchups. And when they drafted him, he was considered a special defensive prospect, a guy who would fill out physically, but like you said, could bang once he filled out, but very switchy, extremely long, basically kind of the projection for him was Rashard Lewis with all defensive potential, right? So like kind of a catch and shoot 6'10" guy with all defensive potential. By the way, I think he's 6'11" now. I do think he grew an inch. Apparently Alpi Şengün grew at least an inch, maybe 2. And again, like, just the stuff he was doing off the dribble today was pretty eye-opening as far as significant development coming off his rookie season.
Yeah, I mean,
Bontemps, what have you seen?
The 2 guys that really stood out to me, it was from that Portland Houston game on Friday. It was Scoot Thompson and Amen Thompson, or Scoot Henderson and Amen Thompson. They were both awesome. And they were going at it the whole game, guarding each other until they both got hurt. Scoot hurt his shoulder in the third quarter, and then Amen sprained his ankle in the fourth. He's not going to play against Summer League. Scoot might. But if you watch that game, like, if I'm Portland and Houston, I'm really fired up. I mean, Scoot got wherever he wanted on the court, was able to get into the lane.
He looked so comfortable.
Both of them did. That was the thing that really stood out to me about both of them. They both got wherever they wanted. Scoot, obviously, is a big physical guy. Anybody who sees him walk around could see that. But he got into the lane, was able to kick out for shots. His jumper, he hasn't made a lot of shots. Like, obviously, he's not shooting 40% with the Ignite last year, but his percentages went up a bunch from his first year. His shot looks fine. Like, he doesn't have some kind of hitch or anything. It's a smooth release. I was talking to Garrett Temple about it actually yesterday. I saw him somewhere. Longtime NBA vet. And we were talking about those guys. Like, he was saying the same thing. Like, Scoot's shot looks perfectly good. Like, I think he's got the potential to be a very good jump shooter once he gets going and sort of, gets the reps in, and everything else about him is there. Like, he was making defensive plays. Like I said, he was making plays on offense, kicking the ball around. He was everything as advertised, like we thought coming in. But maybe more impressive to me was Thompson. I mean, I'm not watching Overtime Elite. I don't
know his game. I don't know his
right.
game.
I knew his game because I obviously heard Jonathan Gavoni talk about him, and I read about him, and I knew what he could do in theory, which is his 6'7" playmaking guard, big time athleticism. You go, oh man, that's quite a package, right? Then you watch him play, and it was the same
He's the
thing.
more offensive of the two. Azur is the more defensive of the two. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say he's the better ball handler.
They've
Azur's
both
got
made
more
some
of
passes, boy. Azur has
Yes.
made some beautiful passes.
Yeah, it's Amen. I would say is more the point guard, and Azur is more of a wing.
Yeah.
But watching him play, like, it reminded me of watching Lonzo Ball play, where, like, when you watch Lonzo at UCLA, he was always under control. Like, he'd be flinging the ball ahead, and they'd be playing fast paced and moving the ball around, but he always was making the right play, and he never looked rushed. And that was the thing about Thompson that was so impressive in that game Friday. He's going back and forth with Scoot. They're guarding each other. They're going up and down. And he wasn't trying to, like, take over the game. If a guy was open, he would just make the simple pass to the wing. Like, it was really, really impressive. And, like, if I'm Houston coming out of this weekend with the way Jabari has played, with the way Thompson played on Friday, with the other young guys they've got, adding Fred VanVleet, like, Houston's going to struggle next year. They're probably not going to be that close to a playoff spot, given how tough the West is from a depth standpoint. But I think it's been a great weekend for the Rockets, and I think there's a lot for them to be excited about moving forward with this group, because I mean, it looks like they've got some real pieces to work with, and it's going to be fun to see how they grow next season.
The Thompson twins athletic comp is Jaylen Brown. I mean, they have NBA bodies and explosive athleticism. Obviously, the big question for both of them is going to be the jump shot. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys, including Lonzo Ball, develop jump shots in the NBA. There will not be a single time their rookie season where somebody goes over a screen against them on a pick and roll. Like we can go ahead.
Certainly wouldn't think so.
We can go ahead and bank on that right now. But if they develop jump shots, like they've got a chance to be really, really good. Another rookie, and I only saw the fourth quarter of the Pacers Vegas opener, but it's pronounced Jarace, correct?
Jarace Walker, yep.
Jarace Walker. I was really, really impressed with him. And he looks like a pass rusher. 6'8", 249. And you immediately, just looking down on the floor, you see, my God, this guy's arms are long. 7'3" wingspan. And he's another guy like the comps, Draymond Green. Like, what is he offensively? More of a playmaker than a scorer. This game, 8 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. And I saw 3 of the assists. They're all really pretty passes, like, vision, just creating, not just like moving the ball, but like creating off the dribble and making a play for his teammate, getting guys layups and dunks. One of them was in the open floor. Like, for a guy that big, looked really explosive and athletic. I had a spectacular block shot that was like a big time clutch play in that game. I tell you, that Pacers team, with Halliburton, with Mathurin, with this guy coming along, Miles
Brown.
Yeah, I think that the Pacers team, I'm talking more like long term.
They just got Obi Toppin for next to nothing. I know Obi Toppin's been underwhelming, but he's a big time athlete.
Well, and you know what Obi Toppin might be really good at doing? Playing with a center and Miles Turner who can space the floor and run and pick and roll with one of the best playmakers in the NBA, a guy named Tyrese Halliburton. Like, say whatever you think of him, the man can jump and catch a lob pass and throw it down. So, but like I said, Jarace Walker, I only saw a quarter, but right away I was like, I see why this guy was a mid-lottery pick for sure.
Yeah.
They were pleased that he was there for him. It was hard for them to. They were at 7, I believe. It was hard for them to predict
and
what was going to be there.
Yeah, they were able to actually move down. I forget what they got in the deal. They moved down to 8, but certainly part of that is the Wizards were calling. Was like, who you picking? Okay, not our guy. Fine, we'll make this deal.
Yeah, got a couple seconds. The Wizards went up and got Bilal Coulibaly, and they got Walker. The other thing to say too is pretty rough week for Brandon Miller. Combined 9 for 32 from the field in the 2 games here, was not much better in Sacramento. Look, like I said about Victor before the games this weekend, I'm not reading a ton into rookies at Summer League, but it's going to be very interesting to watch the development of him going forward, and Scoot Henderson in particular, but also Thompson. And like, you watch those 3 guys play this week, and while Brandon Miller's intriguing and he certainly has a lot of upside, I would feel better about those other 2 guys.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.